Justin, can you hear me? Hey, good to see you, Moon. Can you hear me all right? Cool. I haven't done anything in a while, so I just figured I'd pop on here. I appreciate it, Moon and Dustin, for letting me know that. So yeah, it's been a while since I've done anything on here, so I figured I'd pop on, being a holiday week and all that. Figured some people would still be up, but man, I'm just sick and tired of watching and listening to all the BS that people are spouting on YouTube. Hey, Bonnie's, good to see you. I'm just getting tired of people talking about things that, number one, they really don't even know what they're talking about, and they're just spouting off hyperbole and trying to weigh in on subjects that they just don't know anything about. And it's obvious by the things that they say that they are just regurgitating things they've heard, or maybe they thought they heard, or things that they want to, communicate to the world, if you will. So um, I wanted to just come on here and encourage everybody to uh, sift through the BS that's going on out there. And I've noticed it on a couple of channels that I even watch from time to time. I'm not going to call anybody out, but it's the amateurism is starting to show in some of these people, and um, none of us are gods, and none of us are the have the ultimate platform when it comes to talking about prepping. A lot of people have ideas and experiences, and that's great, but I still want people to utilize their own judgment and trust their own instincts when it comes to this stuff, because there's just a lot of stuff that's being said that, and I'm talking about everything from the border to the juice, the pinch, and economics, politics, etc. There's just so much bad information out there that people run with. One, because I guess it's clickbait and it gets them likes and whatnot, and subscribers. But one of the reasons I just don't do a whole lot of YouTube anymore is that a lot of the stuff is just watered down. By the time I get to it, it's all been trampled on and miscommunicated, and it's just like, what's the point? People are eating up bad information, and I don't really have the time to correct all these things, and I don't want to come across as me being the purveyor of 100% correct information all the time either. That's not what I'm saying, but I know when not to get involved in stuff, you know. And if I don't know about a particular subject, I'm going to keep my mouth shut about it. If I am willing to argue about something with regard to a particular subject, that probably means I know what the hell I'm talking about. But I stick to the things that I know. But there's a lot of people out there that are just spewing hyperbole and rhetoric, and they don't invest enough research and time and knowing the subject that they're talking about, and it shows in what they say. And I just don't call people out. But there's been a few times lately where I really felt like calling people out on their live streams or their videos. But what's the point if they're not willing to do the research and get the subject right? Are they going to listen to me? Probably not. So, hey, Danny, good to see you. TH2, appreciate y'all showing up. I know it's late, and of course, I wanted to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving. Hopefully, you're going to have one, even if it's just bare bones stuff, but hopefully everybody's going to be able to get together and have a decent Thanksgiving this year. And hopefully you've been able to gather a few things to eat, and hopefully you still got your jobs, and you've been able to save a little bit of money and maybe stack some things as far as your pantry goes and your finances go. But I just again wanted to reiterate the importance of people doing their own research and studying subjects on their own, because I'm just seeing a whole lot of bad information out there. Finished heating 40 pints of venison. Oh, wow. And that's great. That's a great skill. Yes, I agree, Moon. I agree. That's awesome. Yeah, canning is one of those things that, I've fallen short on. I have no problem with admitting that. I've been saying it for a long time. It's my own fault. I haven't gotten better at it, or at least get it somewhat experienced at it. But it's one of those things where I kind of need to do it myself, hands on, to learn it. I'm sort of a hands on learner, if you will. But hey, Denise, good to see you. It's okay. I just threw this thing together last minute. Absolutely. Absolutely. Hey, Lee, good to see you. Yeah, Lee, I was just talking about the main reason that I had this, decided to put this video on tonight, was just the fact that I'm getting really, really tired watching people spout off about subjects that they don't have any experience in, or it's clear that they do not know what they're talking about. And I'm not saying that I'm a purveyor of 100% accurate information either, but as I told the group before you came in, Lee, if I don't know about a particular subject, I'm not going to spout off about it. I'm going to keep my mouth shut and learn about it so I do know what I'm talking about before I communicate that to any type of group or people. And I'm just seeing a whole lot of bad. What it really shows is people's, quite frankly, their ignorance on certain subjects. And I haven't called anybody out, and I'm not planning to do that. But um, you know, I would just encourage people to really peel back the onion and expose the layers of something before you just go believing it or running with something because somebody said something that has a lot of followers or subscribers on, yeah, YouTube. Exactly, Denise. Clickbait. And so, like I said before, I don't do a whole lot of videos because number one, I'm busy. Number two, a lot of the stuff that I would talk about has already been covered or trampled on or watered down throughout the day or week. So I don't feel really too comfortable about just clinging on to um, you know, another topic that's been trampled to death all week. So that's one reason I don't do a whole lot of videos currently. Any ideas to keep warm? Yeah, great topic. Hopefully, you've got a fireplace of some sort. Hopefully, you've got some backup propane heaters of some sort. Blankets, of course. The typical things that we use. I'm a big fan of having backups and different varieties of things to stay warm and or cool. And I like to have at least two items. So I've got normally my central heat and air, and then I've also got a gas fireplace, and I've also got a whoa. Mm, wow. I guess it depends on where you're from and what kind of chili you're making. Um, but the little portable propane heaters are a secondary option or a third option for me to keep things warm here. And I've also got a dual fuel generator, which I could actually run my furnace on if I had to. So that's a good item to have as well. So yeah, again, purpose of this video or this live tonight was just to catch up with people, let them know I'm still alive. I know some of y'all know that. But to just make sure that, you know, you're using due diligence when it comes to accepting and soaking in data that's being pushed out there on YouTube and other sources as well. Vesta space heater works off of a safe heat and he operates a little fan. Huh, interesting. I'll check that out. Yeah, okay, so there's a famous chef in Texas. He's pretty famous. His name is Jody Dean. I don't know if anybody has heard of this guy, but he's pretty famous, you know, around the Dallas-Fort Worth area. He's done a lot of Texas. He does a lot of Texas, you know, fair type table fare, you know, if you will, traditional stuff. And I was actually communicating with him one time on I think it was a live stream, may have been something like that, but the subject came up about chili. And, you know, I have always been a fan of no beans in chili, personally. And it's just the way it is. But Jody told me the minute that you put something other than meat in chili, you've created a stew. And that comes from a pretty famous chef in Texas. But he also mentioned, you know, a lot of people just use ground beef for their chili. Now, Jody Dean says that you should never grind your beef for chili. You should always dice it, right? Because when you grind, you lose a lot of the fat and you lose a lot of the flavor. And, you know, chili is all about simplicity to me. And I'll also tell you, some of the best chili that I've ever had was made by my dad. And he would use a lot of leftover brisket in his chili, and especially the burnt ends. Oh my God, it is so good. So I encourage people to try that in their chili. I didn't necessarily want this to be a culinary live, but it is what it is. I'm happy to help. And they say if you put beans in chili, you're making Yankee stew. So sorry if that offends. But I know a lot of people do like beans in it, but I'm personally a no beans type guy on the chili. But yeah, leftover brisket and burnt ends are really, really popular getting really popular as far as chili recipes go. That sounds good, Denise. That sounds really good. That's cool. Hey, Lisa, good to see you. Hey, Vigilant, good to see you. But yeah, you know, again, you know, for you folks that are just now coming in, I just want to encourage people to utilize a good filter when they're listening to some of these people on YouTube, because it's clear. Hey, Shift, good to see you. It's clear that a lot of these people don't know what the hell they're talking about. And I'm getting to the point where I'm just going to quit watching them, because it's one thing to know what you don't know. Like I said before, if there's a particular subject I don't know anything about, I'm going to keep my mouth shut about it and listen and learn. Okay. There's a lot of people out there, though, that do not do that. There's a lot of people out there that somehow think because they've got, 5 or 10,000 subscribers that they're the purveyor of the truth. And man, I'm just disagreeing with that completely. And there's a whole lot of them. There's a whole lot of them. There's a whole lot of them that I watch on a regular basis, but I'm getting to the point where I don't want to do that anymore. And I don't want to be like that, and I'm not going to call anybody out. That's not my job, but I've seen it more than once. And, I'm just to the point where, uh, I'm just not going to waste my time on a lot of these people anymore, because number one, I don't have a lot of it. And number two, I want to stay, uh, on the crest, of the good information. And it's one thing to, say, here's what I think. I don't know for sure, but to just say that this is the way that this situation is, and that's just it. And you either, agree with it, or you can get off my channel, stuff like that. I mean, that's just getting crazy. That's like the opposite of what this should be about. Hey, Bug Out, good to see you. Hey, I used to live in Lubbock. Yep, love it. God's country. Lived in Abilene and Lubbock. Liked them both a lot. Great places to raise kids. My favorite part of going up to Lubbock is going the back way through Seymour and Guthrie and seeing the 4 Sixes Ranch. For those of you that watch Yellowstone, 4 Sixes is a real ranch, and it's in Guthrie, Texas, just east of Lubbock. I want to say it's right next to the Pitchfork Ranch. They're competitors, but they are both around 300, 400,000 acres each, I think. But the 4 Sixes has really grown. I mean, it was always a big, equestrian or equine ranch, I should say. But they have like a store in town and everything. No, Denise, the Bushes live in Dallas, but I think they were out in Midland for a while, which is, a couple hours away from Lubbock. But Lubbock's where Texas Tech University is. Yeah. Yeah, we've got our little ranch is located near Breckenridge, which is northeast of Abilene. But if you ever get a chance to go out there to Lubbock, and if you ever get the chance to go by there and see that place, I would definitely recommend going and doing it. Pretty cool place. Just to even drive by, it's pretty cool. But like I said, they have a general store in town now. You can go, and they have a website online. You can order anything you want from it too. Clip shirts, hats, whatever. They've got just about everything there. But it's a pretty cool place with a lot of history. They've got their own airstrip and everything out there. If you're flying out there to, purchase something from the ranch, you got some pretty deep pockets, I'm thinking. It's a pretty cool story about the 4 Sixes Ranch. But like I said, those of you that watch Yellowstone, it is definitely a real ranch, and the filming that took place actually did take place there at the 4 Sixes in Guthrie, Texas. But man, the information overload is just so crazy right now. I mean, again, um, there's just a lot of people that are out there spewing rhetoric and propaganda. And I think a lot of them just don't, they may not even know that they're doing it, quite honestly. But again, there's certain subjects that people, you know, having an opinion is one thing, but when you're directing other people to believe this or call this out or say that's BS, you better damn sure know what you're talking about. Because there's a lot of people that out there that they don't do the type of due diligence or the filtering of information on their own that they should. They're trusting that some of these people are legit and know what they're talking about. So again, that's one of the reasons why I'm saying this tonight in this live is that people really need to pay attention and they need to filter through a lot of the information that they get and research the hell out of it if you got time. If you don't know, ask another person about it that may have knowledge on the subject matter. But there's a lot of squared away educated people out there that do know what they're talking about. So I'm not out here trying to say that everybody's putting out bad information because that's not true. I'm just encouraging people to do their own research and tap the brakes a little bit because whether it's stuff on the border or invasion, people invading the border, coming across the border, drugs, crime, politics, whatever. There's a lot of people out there that are just spewing information that have no idea what they're talking about. And it's more evident the more they run their mouth. For those of us that do know about particular subjects, especially military and things like that, we can sense BS right off the bat. And, if you think you know everything, you're going to have a rude awakening because just when you think you got it all figured out, you're going to get burned generally. That's right, Bonnie's. Yeah, I hear you, Vigilant. We got plenty of those down here. Get that right. But a couple of, I'm sure that most of y'all watch Cold War Prepper. Lee over there, he's got really good information. Very pleasant fellow to listen to. Doesn't spew a lot of BS and all that. He's, pretty straight and narrow, and does good information. So does Pete, the Romy Prepper. Those are two channels that I watch pretty much every day. Pinball Preparedness is another. I like him a lot. Um, there's a whole host of others. Hill Country Prepper is good as well, and there's some good information out there. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying be really careful about some of these people that do. God, I've seen some of these people do 3 or 4 videos a day. I'm like, good lord, man. Um, you know, but hey, Dustin, that's cool. Hey, Ridge Runner. Exactly, man. Exactly, Ridge Runner. And gonna see on a mission. But yeah, it's like hell, I was in the military too, and I didn't retire, but I did 8 years active duty, and part of that was during the Cold War, and things were very serious back then. Like we didn't have the internet and all that, of course, not all this instant messaging and whatnot. Hell, cell phones were just coming out actually, but it's we took things seriously, and we didn't regurgitate stuff that number one could be misleading, number two could cause an incident, right? And so, you know, I've even forgotten a lot of the stuff that I learned way back then, as far as military, weapons and all that kind of stuff. But I didn't forget all of it, of course. But there's some stuff that I still from time to time need to get retrained on, or remember how exactly we did something. It's easy to overlook some of that stuff, but I think it's important to know what you don't know. There's a difference between people that uh, don't know what they don't know, and that to me is the dangerous ones. When they're just out there running their mouth, um, you know, and like shooting, for example. I know that I don't shoot enough. All right, shift, take it easy. I know that I don't shoot enough. I know that. It's not an excuse, but at least I know. And so I've got to do better at getting myself on the range or out at the ranch and shooting more, because it's an important skill to have, and I know better. So um, that's just one example. Um, there's a lot of people out there that just think it's like a video game or whatever. A lot of people just think they can do something one time and they're an expert. It's crazy. It's crazy. You get one person that builds a deck, and now they're a framer and a carpenter. It's like, get real. Yeah, I agree with that, Vigilant. I'm starting to see that too. And like I said before, before some of you came in the chat here, what I was saying is that um, a lot of these channels, I watch on a regular basis, and I like them personally, but some of the stuff that they're talking about, they don't know enough about the subject to be a a SME, subject matter expert, right? And you know, again, I'll help anybody that asks for help or needs brushing up on a subject, and I of course would expect the same from any of you or people that are in my close circle. If I asked for help, they would help me. So again, yeah, it's important to not be overconfident, and do your research, right, and do your due diligence, and make sure that you understand a subject before you start talking about it. Um, that's a little bit of a tricky subject, Bonnie's. I mean, I'll tell you what I know personally and what we do out at our ranch. We we have a big hog problem, and there is historical data that shows. I don't have anybody in here, do I? I'll kill that one. Um, Hogs are wild pigs are what we call omnivores, which means they eat everything. And including each other. Do I have any mods in here? I don't know that I do. But the way we do it, if it's a larger pig, like 1 to 200 pounds, maybe I probably would just maybe take the ribs, right? Um, but we try to stay around 80 pounds or less, because they just haven't gotten nasty yet. And if you've processed enough pigs, um, they can't get nasty when they get over 100 pounds. So I would try to stay. I would really try to say around 50 pounds or less is probably your best bet when it comes to eating wild pigs. They're put together a little bit different based on my experience. They like their bone structure is a little bit different than a domestic pig. Like their rib bones are a little more rounded versus rectangular shaped. My experience anyway. So yeah, we've got a really big problem with them down here, and they're actually a nuisance animal. We don't even there's no they're not even a game animal. They're just a varmint, like a coyote or a bobcat or a snake or whatever. There's no regulations. They kill them, and they've gotten such to be such a big problem, and they're very destructive. That's the biggest thing is that they're destructive. They tear through fences and they will really screw up your drainage in your fields. If you've got like a wheat field or a soybean field or something, or cotton field or whatever, they will root a trench right across the rows and screw up all your drainage easy. And that's the biggest thing. They uh, they are just destructive, and they don't know any better. That's just what they're doing instinctively. But that's not our problem. So in West Texas, when you don't get a lot of rain generally anyway, you want to keep all that, you want to retain all that rainwater that you do get, so your crop will grow. And so they'll root across an entire field just looking for a grub worm. I mean, it's crazy. So you just got to do what you got to do. And we even have big traps that we trap them in, trying to get groups of them at one time. Thanks, Lisa. But they are an issue for sure. They are mean, and like I said, they'll eat anything. They'll eat roadkill. They'll eat each other. A lot of the boars will eat babies that are just born because they're intimidated, the males. But yeah, it's crazy, man. I mean, I've seen them go through a five-strand fence like a herd of them just went right through a fence like it wasn't even there. I mean, their hide, a full-grown one, their fat layer and their hide will be an inch thick. I mean, they're almost indestructible. And you start processing wild pigs with a knife, you better have about 4 or 5 knives handy, and you better have somebody sharpening knives because they get really, really, really dull quick. That hair is very coarse, and it will dull a knife quick. Yeah, I agree with you, Bonnie's. Like I said, I don't eat a lot of wild pork, but I mean, if they're really small, I will. But it's got to be the right situation. Can't go wrong with deer. It's all right, Lisa. But no, I think people. I know a lot of people in here are eating more wild game and getting better at that and fishing. That's maybe what it's going to take. I mean, I don't think we've seen anything yet. I think that this thing is hanging by a thread, and it could go one of many ways. It could go south here real quick. Um, I would not slack up on the medications either. Can you imagine? Can you imagine having the flu or some other type of maybe an intestinal issue and not having any medication to deal with that? I mean, pain reliever, cold and flu meds, cough drops. I'm one of these people that never buys the last bag of anything if it's on the shelf because I'm a prepper. I'm prepped, right? I'm thoroughly prepared. But hey, Steel Roz, good to see you. The other day, I was at Wally World, and there was one bag of cough drops on the counter, and I grabbed them. That's typically something I don't do. And I wasn't completely out, but I was close. There was a batch of sickness that ran through here, so they got used up. And I'm like, again, I'm not the person that takes the last bag or box of anything, but that one I did. That's right, Roz. I call it God's grocery store. All that wild game out there. We're pretty fortunate out at our place. We've got whitetail, turkey, dove, quail, a lot of fish. We even got rabbit. rattlesnakes if you get really desperate, but let's hope it doesn't go there. I've got a lot of prickly pear cactus too. You can eat that. But our little ranch we got out there is pretty well fortified now. We've done a lot of work to it. Looks looking really good. It's true. Um, I'll tell you something else that I think people maybe forget about, and that's candles. You know, um, I go buy those Jesus candles. I buy a couple every month, probably. Well, it is good, bug out. You're right about that. That is good. Very good. Hey, farmer son, good to see you. But we're just talking about Farmer Son. We were getting ready. That's another good channel y'all need to check out if you haven't. Farmer Son Prepping. He's a good dude. But Farmer Son, we were talking about people putting out information that they really don't know what they're talking about, and they're just regurgitating bad info they've heard from somebody else or watched somewhere else, or they think that they're an expert on the subject. And we are. I'm for one. I'm getting tired of listening to some of these people, and I'm not going to call them out because I think a lot of them. I think a lot of them, or a few of them in particular, think that they're doing the right thing. But you can tell by somebody that has subject matter expertise on some of these things that people talk about, you know immediately when they start running their mouth if they're full of crap or not. Okay. And, you use word association and things like that, and you can just tell. All right. So I'm just encouraging people to use their best judgment and due diligence and filter out the BS and some of the stuff that they're listening to and hearing. And, I'm not saying I've got it all figured out either, but I'm not typically going to talk about a subject that I don't know about because I don't want to give bad information. And I want people to have good information. So, it might be one little thing that they heard somewhere that can save their life, you know? And, I one of the reasons why I don't do a whole lot of but one of the reasons I don't do a whole lot of videos anymore is just because, one, maybe it's been talked about already that day, and a lot of us follow the same people, and and all that. So it's not like I don't want to give information, but I'm not going to just regurgitate a subject because somebody else did it. And I if I deem a certain subject to be important, I'll do a video on it. But I don't just do videos to do videos and regurgitate information because I need to do a video today. I don't do this thing for clicks, and I don't have a whole lot of followers, or subscribers. That's okay. It's not about that to me. To me, if I can help one person get better, then that's something that I accomplished. So, and of course, you want it to be like a trickle down effect, right? I mean, you help this one helps another, and so on and so forth. Um, and so a lot of times I just don't have a lot of new information to provide, and that's why I don't do a lot of videos, at least like I used to. When I first started doing this, I was just kind of feeling for the edges and figuring out how it went. I didn't know a whole lot about it, but so I'm sort of more quality than quantity, if you will. And like I said, a lot of these subjects are so watered down. People just talk about the same stuff over and over and over again, and yeah, I think that's just what they're comfortable in doing. I think some people try to make a living off of this, and of course, I don't have that kind of following, but I wish I was that creative, but I'm not. So, I've got to stick with the old-fashioned way of working and making money. But hopefully everybody's still able to stack the things. I mean, like I said, like I mentioned on a couple other chats recently, my stores around me are plumb full of inventory. I'm talking about overloaded. They are selling canned goods at 50 cents a can, and that's still too much, but it's a lot better than 88 cents a can. And you just have to go through there and look, check those clearance aisles. I mean, again, they have stuff that's like they had Mr. Buddy heaters on sale the other day. I'm like, really? Then I went over to the camping section, and they were still stacked on the shelves on the top. They're overly filled with stock right now. They're stocked up with inventory. So I'm not, yeah, right. No kidding. Got that right. And I think, a lot of it comes down to credibility, right? It's just like I'm not going to talk about a subject just because somebody else talked about it, right? Um, there's a very good chance that I'm going to be starting a new job here recently, or I'm sorry, soon. I've recently entered into interviews and things like that with this company, and it's a private intelligence company, and they do worldwide situational awareness and extreme weather reports, civil unrest reports, continuity of government for businesses and governments around the world. And so there's a good chance. I think there's a pretty good chance I'm probably going to be going to work for them soon. I hope that's right up my alley. But I'm hoping that it pans out. So that'll be really, really cool for me if that takes place. So I'm hoping, got my fingers crossed. I think that's true. I think that is the case, Denise. I think that it's catching up, and they got caught, summer inventory coming in now, and then they've got all this Christmas stuff they got to put out, and they don't have the room for it. So that's what I think, based on my personal experience at my local stores. So I'm hoping it pans out. I appreciate y'all's support on that. But it's fully remote. It's a really cool it's a really cool gig, and it's a interesting niche, and it's all meteorologists and military people and different walks of life. They've got a little bit of everything. Paramedics. It's sort of like I say, it's a private intelligence company, basically, is what it is. But they do work all over the world, and it's 24/7. So there'll be like a certain shift that you work, and it's all remote pretty much, and then you basically follow the protocols. And there's companies that have contracts with this group, and everything, like I said, from weather to civil unrest to there's different tiers they can get on the plan with this company. And basically there's a point of contact or two for each company or town, and if something's going down, you basically have one-on-one contact with that point of contact person for the client. And I thought that was pretty cool. um, yeah, people, I mean, you can still get deals, at least in my area. I know that there's a lot of people out there that are having tough times right now. And if the economy hasn't affected you, it's probably going to soon. And, you know, if you got $4, you can go buy some cans. I mean, it's not. it's not impossible, but it is difficult for a lot of people right now. And I'm starting to even see an uptick in the parking lot campers at the stores around my area right now. And you can tell, if you drive through there at night, you can tell, who's sleeping in their cars and who's not, and it's pretty sad to see. And we even started getting a little bit more of the violence, strong arm robberies, things like that, and store parking lots around my area. And I live in a pretty affluent area of north of Dallas. Um, and so it's, as I suspected, it was going to creep up this way. But you've got everything from grocery robberies, in the parking lot to even some punk tried to steal a Louis Vuitton bag off a 70-year-old woman's shoulder at Walmart the other day and pushed her down. And of course, they got him. Took a few days, but somebody ratted him out quite proper. And got him. But the point is that it's starting to creep into the burbs, and is what it is. So another reason why me and a lot of other people always encourage you to get trained and be able to defend yourself with deadly and non-deadly force. But you got to be prepared for that. You got to have the right mindset when you go out so you can do that and be in that position. Yeah, prices are high. That's right. Yep. Yep. It is. That's right, Farmer Son. I walked out of Walmart the other day with four of their little bags, and it was like $60. It's crazy. That's right. Yeah, I believe it. So I'm currently, work in the engineering field, structural engineering field, and some of these buildings that I've looked at, some of them are brand new, like Family Dollar, Dollar Trees. They're brand new. They haven't even opened yet, and they're already subpar. The roofing, the flashing systems are completely subpar, substandard, and they're already going to need work before they even get the shelves stocked. That's how bad this construction is. And it just is what it is. One place I stopped at, there wasn't one person on that crew over the age of 25. I'm sorry, but you just don't have enough experience at that age. I'm not saying they were bad people, but the work product was suffering tremendously. It's crazy. Just watch a YouTube video and try to do it yourself. Yeah, that's true. Florida is hurting. I was at Harbor Freight today and they had those little electric fireplaces on sale for $80. It's like a little looks like a wood stove, but it's electric. Um, but it was $80. I thought that was pretty cheap. And you got to be careful with their electric products because they will light up in a bad way. Hmm, that's interesting. 1 second. Okay. Sorry about that. Let's see, $20 are all closures. Well, here's what I can tell you. I mean, through doing what I do on the engineering side, all the new Dollar Tree and Family Dollars are together now. Dollar Tree bought out Family Dollar, is what they told me. And if you go into one of the new stores, it's split in half. Family Dollar on one side, Dollar Tree on the other. So I don't know about the closures, but the company that I work for is definitely laying off people because the work volume is slowing down. That's right. You get what you pay for generally. So learn a skill, do it yourself, you know. And one thing you just got to be is patient. When you're going to do something, try to tackle a task on your own, just be patient. Do your research, learn about it, try to get somebody that knows a little something about it. Measure twice, cut once. Bug out, I was in Pahoka and did that Family Dollar, Dollar Tree down there recently. It had just opened up. Yep, I saw that too. But man, like I said, so I heard the bank. There's a bank in my Walmart, and a guy, the manager of the bank, was excited about this Walmart by his house. That this a new style of Walmart where like they're changing up the whole game. Where they're like you go in and like there's like a mannequin area with like they're like making it like a Kohl's or something. It was like that, and he showed me some photos. I was like, wow, that's new. And then of course they're increasing the they're expanding the size of the pickup pickup areas, you know, and that's a big thing, man. People don't want to do anything. I mean, I personally like getting out and walking around and surveying what's going on, you know, but there's a lot of people that just will pull up and get it loaded in their car and they're good, or they get it delivered, you know. And that's another thing. These people doing this Walmart home delivery, man, that is insane. Letting some stranger in your house is crazy. Absolutely crazy. I could see that going wrong real quick. It's got lawsuit written all over it. Of course, I'm sure you sign your life away when you agree to the. Mhm. Yep, I believe that too because they're getting rid of all the workers. Yep, things are changing, folks. Things are changing. But like I said, I just wanted to encourage everybody to, you know, do their due diligence and take the time to vet a subject, you know, or vet the person that's talking about the subject. Um, you know, a lot of people have extra time on their hands nowadays. Learn something. Hmm. Yep. Got the RFID tags on. And hell, I just like to go out and go to the stores because that's, you know, I go on a first-hand account of what's going on so I can talk to people about what I see. Not what I heard, but what I saw. All right, Lisa, thanks for stopping by. Also, understand that Walmart's going to start charging for bags. I guess it depends on where you live. When they start doing that in my area, people will be up in arms. Like I said, I don't particularly like to go to Walmart unless, hey, Mary, good to see you. I don't particularly like to go to Walmart because that's where I shop. I go if I need more than groceries, I typically will go to Walmart. But if I just need groceries, I'll go to like a smaller store like Kroger or like a Tom Thumb or something like that, maybe. Um, I was gonna tell people too, and I'm not just a purveyor of, hey, go get guns and get guns, 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 guns. That's not what I'm out here saying. What I'm saying to people is, if you are in need of an extra one or you don't have one at all, there are still a lot of deals out there online right now. You can get a nice 9mm for less than $300. And, that's with a couple magazines. There is plenty of deals out there you can get on firearms right now online in the store. So there is definitely ways to get your hands on something if you don't have anything or if you need an extra. I mean, I saw, I'll post it here. You can get all kinds of good deals on that site. Yeah, they do. They do FSP. They have deals on firearms and magazines a lot of times. And ammo. They have packages. Real good deals. But I mean, they had a couple of different Tauruses in there for like 229 subcompacts, really nice. And like I said, very seldom will you find me without one, if not two. And the only typical reason I won't have one with me is if I'm going through a metal detector somewhere. It's just part of me. It's the way I started doing that probably about 5 years ago. I good to see you, Bug Out. Thanks for coming by. Don't be a stranger. But yeah, I think you got to get in the habit of having it with you, and you might want to grab a couple extra mags too, because looks like they might be coming after those quick, fast, and in a hurry. There's another company that I shop at locally. They're all over. They got about 4 or 5 stores throughout the U.S., but that place right there, it's a pretty much a cop shop, but they sell to the public. But Glock runs a program through this company called the Blue Label program. And if you're a veteran, active duty, first responder, you can get what they call a blue label pricing, which is it's like $100 off the Glock itself, plus you get an extra magazine. So you get $100 off plus 3 magazines, which ends up being probably about $150 total. But it's a program that Glock runs through them, through their stores, and save you some money, you know, and you get your Glock. But anyway, yep, me too, FSP. Damn straight. Remember, we don't get to pick the time and place of our incident. It's going to pick us, right? I mean, it just gets crazier and crazier every day. Good for you, Mary. Progress, though. And maybe it's 4 mags I'm thinking about, FSP. It might be 4 mags. It's been a year since I participated in that program, but there might be 4 mags. And get crafty with how you store and keep that stuff around. I think it's always good to have one put back somewhere that you can get access to if things go wrong or things go south, or if you get a visit by somebody, unwarranted, of course. Um, but I think it's always good to have that backup piece somewhere, just in case. Anyway, looks like I've dropped a few people off here. Anyway, the point of the video tonight was just to encourage people to do their due diligence and research about subjects that they hear people talking about, especially if they're not somebody that's, an expert, at what they're talking about, or at least have good, credible knowledge about the subject. There's just a lot of people out there running their mouths about stuff to get clicks, and you believe what you want to believe, but I'm just telling you that I personally have noticed a lot of people putting out erroneous, bad information. Some of them, most of them actually probably don't even know it. Okay. They're just running their mouth. So I encourage everybody to do their research and get better at filtering out the BS, as the title says. So glad to see everybody again. I don't want to take up all your time on a Sunday night, but I just felt it was important to one, show myself, and two, just communicate what a concern that I had about what I'm seeing. So please like, share, and subscribe if you haven't. I appreciate it, and I'll try to get in here and do more videos as time allows here. But everybody have a great Thanksgiving and be safe, and don't slack up. Stack it deep. And always remember, long live the Republic. Y'all have a good night and a good Thanksgiving.